Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estella.
And welcome to
Cafecito
and Crime. Hello, everybody. Happy Halloween, skis.
Happy Halloween.
Hope everyone is having a wonderful
You should have
day.
left your costume on. Because I
should have.
Because I have a witch.
Oh,
shirt.
yeah. So, and then let me tell you, then my coworker, I asked her and everybody was like, hey, so what are y'all going to wear? You know, because, I mean, we work from home and everything, but you try to, make it.
Because you guys are like on camera with each other.
You're trying to make it like crunk, you know. Where did I say crunk? I don't know. And so I was like, I have my costume. Like,
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm ready. I'm Squirtle, by the way, Pokemon. And so then she was like, oh, I don't have anything. And I was like, oh.
Was she the only one? Or you're the only one that's going to have something?
No. I mean, then I was like, maybe I shouldn't wear it. But then I was like, why the fuck not? Like,
And it's not like you just have a shell in the back that probably nobody's going to see.
No. I was going to put on my Bucky shirt que tiene la Happy Halloween.
Oh, that's different.
So I was like, I was just going to wear that. Or you know which one? The one that you bought me that had the little ghostie that was drinking coffee?
Or this one that you also
Or the one that you just bought me.
That is the same one.
Or you didn't mean to buy it. But anyway, we hope that you guys are all having a wonderful day. Be safe out there in Halloweenskis. We went to the trunk or treat. And girl, I seen some good little costumes out there. There was a little boy que iba vestido was it a snack machine?
Oh.
Like de que le pones coras. ¿Cómo se llama?
Yeah. A vending machine?
A vending machine.
Oh, shit, that's
And he
cute.
had like an Oreo little thing. It was the cutest thing ever.
Was he little?
Yeah, he was kind of little. Well, I mean, like my son's age. They're in middle school. And then, but here for us, middle school is not middle.
6.
Yeah, it's kind of intermediate, but then they go to intermediate. It's weird. But anyway, and then I saw a whole bunch of the same, my son's costume. A lot of them.
Tanjiro from Demon Slayer.
And then,
wait, was anybody wearing the red wig?
no, nobody was wearing the
scar besides him.
Or the
Nezuko in the back.
Nezuko on his back, or also that nobody had the sword. So we
Were
got
others,
upper hand.
so he was the most complete Tanjiro minus the red hair.
Minus the red hair because he didn't want to wear it.
But
And
did others have earrings?
no.
You went all out.
Yeah, he went all out. We went all out. And then, but I did see a lot of cute. Then there was like this big old inflatable SpongeBob, and it was cool. It was cool, and it was really beautiful outside. Yeah. So it was awesome. But anyway, so today we will be discussing the case of Megan Huntsman. So for this case, it's I be getting like inspired from weird ass places like that have been
like random.
Yeah, random. Not weird, but random places. And so this case lo vi se me hace que lo vi somewhere, and then I was like I had my mouth open, so it was kind of crazy. We are going to Pleasant Grove, Utah. I know you thought I was going to say Pleasant Grove, Texas, but I wasn't.
No, it's just that my case I'm working on now is also in Utah. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
I know.
So I want everybody to know, we don't tell each other our cases.
No.
Like, we do not know what each other's case is hasta el día que we record.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to Pleasant Grove, Utah, not Pleasant Grove, Texas. Which there is a Pleasant Grove, Texas, but not there.
I'm sure there's others too.
But if you would like to go with us to Pleasant Grove, Utah, I was about to say Texas. Go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started.
Awesome. Okay, so fun, random, interesting, surprising facts.
Okay, surprising.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not very surprising.
Oh.
But anyway. Or quirky.
Okay.
Don't forget quirky. So Pleasant Grove is nicknamed the Strawberry City.
Oh.
So the reason is because Utah City of Trees, which what it was known for, they were famous for growing strawberries. So they have Strawberry Days Festival, started in 1921.
Oh, damn.
And it's the oldest continuous running community festival in Utah.
Over 100 years.
For real. And they have like signature local love, like fresh strawberries.
I was about
cream,
to say, imagine
like
their fresh strawberry jam.
Strawberry jam. They have like, me imagino como, like, we have a strawberry festival here in Pasadena, but ours is H-E-B makes their a whole room que es un strawberry shortcake.
¿Dónde?
But that's here at the Strawberry Festival.
Oh shit! Well, I've never
here
been.
in Pasadena. But the one in Utah, they don't do that. But they don't probably have
that we
H-E-B.
know. That we know.
Aquí dice que no. Aquí dice that they have fresh strawberries over cream with sponge cake.
Have I had sponge cake?
Yes. So it's just vanilla cake.
Oh,
it's a must try when you visit in June. Another thing that I thought was interesting, because I thought that maybe you would be kind of interested in this, because you go to downtown and when you're walking in there, they have a thing where you can mix the historic and fun area about the buildings. But the cool thing is that when you go to a certain place, you can have a scavenger hunt.
Okay.
So then you go from there and then it's like a tour and you go around all of the biggest areas and you get and you do your little scavenger hunt.
Oh, that's cool.
The last one is that, so there's a unique landmark for Pleasant Grove. It's a big G. Not like us.
What do you mean? Why not?
Well, it could be us. But anyway, so it's on the mountainside.
But what does it stand for?
So the G stands for Pleasant Grove. And it was back in the 1920s.
Oh, for Grove?
Yeah, for Grove.
Okay.
So back in the 1920s, people would call it the Grove. And students from Pleasant Grove High built the giant G.
Oh, they built it. Oh, that's cool.
On a little mountain, the north of town, measuring about 136 by 120 feet.
Well,
it's huge. So this thing is, cuando vas llegando al town, you know that you're almost there because you see the big ass G. It's just like on the side.
And if I go and I see the G, I'm like, oh, the G for Gurusquieta.
That means that I'm home, So the G has been restored over the years.
Of course.
And it now features solar panels and LED lights as a part of the 2023 update. So.
Sí modernizaron.
No, it's like al 100.
Al 100, yeah, y energy efficient y toda la cosa.
Yeah, because, you get solar lights.
Yeah.
On April the 12th of 2014, about 10:30 a.m., the local police department received a phone call from a panicked man. He was calling because he wanted to report something unimaginable. When he called, the dispatcher wanted to know more information, obviously. So he's like, 911, what's your emergency? Mm-hmm. And you can hear it because they have it everywhere on the internet. You can find it. And he asked for an officer to come out to the home. When the dispatcher asked for more information, he said, look, my name is Darren, and I just found something in my garage. The dispatcher wanted to know otra vez, pues ya we talked about this,
yes,
right?
Yes.
I mean, obviously, they want to know why you want a cop. So when they went to ask him, she said, can you be more specific? And he's like, I think I found a miscarriage. So the dispatcher said, I'm sorry. And he's like, I have no idea. So kind of, he was like mumbling his words.
Tampoco no sabía cómo explicarlo.
¿Cómo explicar? Ajá. Yeah. And so le dice, just please send an officer.
Yeah.
Up here. And he started to sound like he was crying. Mm-hmm. Entonces the dispatcher otra vez le dice, like he sounded like he was about to lose it, honestly. The dispatcher says, it sounds like you might need medics. Y él le dice, no, I don't think I need medics. And then she's all like, why? And he said, because it's wrapped in a bag and it smells bad.
Ay, Dios mío.
When the dispatcher asks again, well, what is it then?
Señora.
Pero es que tiene que saber que es manita, pues no puede nada más así. And he said, it's a baby.
Oh.
After the dispatcher hangs up, the officers are sent over to a single-family home that is on 5330 East 200 North, allí in Pleasant Grove. They got there. The garage door was open. Mind you, like I said, it was 10:30, so estaba el sol. It was
en la mañana.
Bleeding. It was
morning time.
It was like spring because in April. Mm-hmm. And it looked like they were like cleaning up. So afuera tenían como que estaban sacando cosas.
Yeah, el garaje.
Mm-hmm. And so there was boxes everywhere, like I said, on the floor. Everything was scattered. And everything was kind of like everywhere. When he got there, he was sitting at the door. And when they approached him, they asked him, he was kind of in a state of hysteria. So he was sitting outside the home on the steps, and he told the responding officers that he was there cleaning out. And he actually had just gotten released from prison.
Okay.
He had moved back home with his three daughters that lived there at the house. And when he was moving, he wanted to do some cleaning because he had just got there. Mm-hmm. And he said that that before he went to jail, he was living there with his family, which was him and his wife and his three daughters. And his wife's name is Megan Huntsman. Mm-hmm. But Megan had recently moved out. And now she lived in a trailer with her new boyfriend in Salt Lake City. So ella ya no vivía ahí. And it had been 3 years since ya se había salido. Her new boyfriend's name was Jimmy Brady. While Darren was incarcerated, he was gone for about 8 years.
8?
8.
Okay.
After being convicted for manufacturing meth. He had just been released in January. And then he was transferred to a half house or like a halfway house in Salt Lake City. So he was ready to go home. Darren had gone to his garage and he wanted to make space for his return as he planned. And when his parents had come over to help him too, so estaban los parents también allí. And the first place that they wanted to tackle was the garage porque they had boxes
stacked up. Yeah.
Piles and piles. He says that he noticed that there was a box that was tightly wrapped with duct tape. And it kind of was like, what is that? No le llamó la atención. He opened the box.
You said a box? Okay, a box. Okay.
So he opens the box and he found a white trash bag. Now, the white trash bag was also wrapped in duct tape.
Okay.
So le llamó la atención. And then he said that when he slightly opened it is when he saw the first bag and when he saw that there was a baby in there. He said that like when he opened it, también le dio como el mal olor. And so he's like, como que, you know how, I don't know if you've ever smelled something so bad, como que it punches you in the face.
Yeah,
that's how he felt. He was like, whoa. And so dice que cuando olió eso, like it just kind of took him aback. And that by the time he was able to like come back to himself and look to see what it was the body of the fully decomposed baby. So now he tells the cops the baby is yellow. So the baby was already pretty much, very decomposed. So he showed the cops where he had found the little baby and he told them that it had a strong smell of iodine. So Darren was thinking, and also the cops were like, okay, so where did this baby come from? Right. And he's like, well, it looks like it was él decía it was a miscarried baby. Pero I don't know, where was he getting this idea, right? So at this point, the officers are kind of puzzled as well because they're saying, you know, well, who miscarried the baby? Like, where did the baby come from? At this point, they're like, okay, we need to get the medical examiner's office out. So they were able to bring them down and they were trying to figure out whose baby was in the box. So officers now noticed that the baby wasn't it wasn't a little baby. It wasn't a fetus. This was a full...
Like having birth, maybe?
Yeah. Like a full-term baby.
Yeah.
¿Cómo se le llama? Like, it's not like a...
Like a newborn.
Like a newborn. Yeah, pero it's not is it still considered a fetus? No, ¿verdad? It would be considered like...
Yeah, a baby.
A baby. So this was a full-termed baby, right? So whenever they went through the box and they found out that the baby was full-termed, they were like, well, he's like, I just got released from jail.
Yeah, like I haven't been home in X amount of time. Yeah. I'm just here cleaning.
Yeah, he's like, I live here with le preguntaron, like, who lives here? And he's like, myself and my 3 daughters. I think one of them was 20, the other one was 18, and then I think the other one was 15. Like the ages.
Todavía estaban chiquitas.
Sí, but all 3 of the daughters were like, so they're like, so could this be one of your daughters' baby? And then the daughters are like, wait a minute, no, that's not my baby.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know where that baby is from. So nobody knew where the baby is from. So the only thing that he can think of or actually like bring up was that it had to be his ex-wife. Now, he says in the interview that they're still married. It's not really his ex-wife.
Oh, they're separated.
They're separated, yeah. But then he's like, but how did she... So, él solo se está como, pero how? Because I was in jail for 8 years. Like, is this... You know, he's like, whose baby is this? So Darren goes on to tell the police that he did call his ex-wife, Megan.
His wife.
Wife, Megan. Y le dijo, like, what the fuck was this? What the hell is this? Or what is going on? So he has her on the line y ella le dice, I'm on my way to explain.
What?
And so how are you on your way to explain
a baby?
I'm going to need you to start explaining now.
Yeah.
On the phone.
I guess the police were like, también.
So él dice, I start questioning her. What have you done? What is going on? Mind you, he calls her not in front of the police. So la mamá de Darren was like, he was just on the phone with her. And the only thing that she would say was she was crying. And she says, don't tell the police.
They're here, bitch.
I'm like, that's too kind of late. That's kind of too late.
No, you should have said something before the baby was found.
The police has been called. Not only that, but now the detectives are on their way.
Yeah.
And they wanted Megan's information. So él les da el número de Megan, le hablan. And Megan is in her house allá con su en la trailer park. And whenever she's on the line with the officers ask, hey, can you tell us where you're at? Can you give me more information about what this is? She's like, yes, it was a miscarriage. It happened about 9 years ago.
Oh, shit.
It's Darren's. The police officer is like, okay, you're telling me that this baby is also your husband's? And she's like, yes, it happened right when he went to jail.
Okay.
The officer asks, well, was the baby... how far along were you? Like, ¿cuántos meses tenía? Like, how did it happen? Yeah. And she keeps saying it was a stillborn. It was a stillborn. This time is now time to bring Megan in. Like, oh, you better come in. They ask her if they can send an officer to pick her up. Mm-hmm.
What, you got a pot big enough to put them in?
All the anatomically correct horses just staring you in the face all night?
I told you guys about the butterfly license plate I had, right?
Every week on Between the States, friends and guests share stories about everyday life.
The kind that make you laugh, think, and say,
yeah, I've been there too.
And the kind of connection you only get when real people open up and share their thoughts.
So if you want a show that feels like hanging out with good friends, where it's fun,
real,
sometimes a little deeper than you'd expect, check out Between the States.
New episodes drop every Thursday.
Between the States, a conversation you'll actually want to join.
So do that at
BetweenTheStates.com.
And available on all your favorite platforms.
We're going to talk a little bit about who Megan is and where she came from. Megan was a little character. Megan was born Megan Huntsman on February the 26th of 1975 in Pleasant Grove. So she was local. Her father was an industrial painter and her mother worked at a grocery store. She was raised in a church of the Jesus Christ of Latter Saints, and they were active members. So eran de...
The same as my case next week.
Shut up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Utah, you know.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. She lived a typical childhood, nothing out of the ordinary. She would do things of her age. She was very quiet, extremely quiet.
Really?
Like, and the reason I say this is because she was very kept to herself. Like, ella no hablaba con nadie. Everything that would happen, she would keep it to herself. When she was in high school is when she met Darren. So Darren's last name is West, was a little bit older than her.
Okay.
Pero they were in love, según ellos, ¿verdad? As they all are in high school. And whenever they were in high school, he was kind of like the guy that was cool. So everybody wanted to talk to him because...
Be his friend.
Él se salía. He was a little bit older than her. So eso le llamó la atención. So she was kind of like, I kind of like this guy.
Yeah, también.
And they started to date. Darren was... As soon as he graduated, he started college. And so then I think there were 2 years separated. So then ella stayed in high school. As soon as she finished high school, she was 18. And he asked her to marry him.
Oh, shit.
And
okay.
She said, yeah, let's do it. Right? Let's do it. And they got married. Megan graduated from high school the same year that she got married to Darren. In April of 1993. And they became a family really quick. Now, Darren worked in construction and Megan kind of cleaned houses and she was a babysitter. So Darren's parents told him to move into a home that they had because they were living in an apartment and they wanted them to have a home. So they offered them a little house. Yeah, well, the house donde vivían. Now, how or why did Megan do this? But she had kept a secret from Darren.
Okay.
She kept the fact that she was pregnant until she was 6 or 7 months pregnant. Ya se casi va a aliviar. And she had not told anyone.
What?
That she was pregnant.
Was she not showing?
Apparently she was not showing.
Not enough, I guess, to notice.
And she managed to keep
it to herself.
And then almost kept the baby like from everybody. She told Darren, and Darren kind of told a few people, but she actually had the baby for the full term. And a few weeks before, she was able to finally tell her mom and things like that. She didn't tell anybody that she was pregnant. Hasta que fue al hospital, like basically, to give birth. I just had a baby right now.
That's so weird.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Like, I understand you not telling everybody, but not like your husband or your parents.
But don't you want to get prepared for the baby? Like buy a few things, like
But you said
diapers.
She was really young,
She was very young. She was 18.
Yeah.
Not long after, Megan became pregnant again. Right? And you would think, oh, well, she hid it from everybody. That was just that one time.
Yeah.
No, bitch. She hid it this time even longer.
Until she gave birth?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Almost until she gave birth.
Even from her husband?
Even from her husband. This one, even from her husband.
How does her husband not know that she's pregnant? Bro, you sleep next to her.
Hold on. Not only that, but she had the baby at home. In the tub.
Man, that's a bad bitch.
That's a bad bitch. Well,
I don't know what she did.
You won't think about that.
Like, I know, I mean...
there's some people that are are better than other women to have just pop out kids.
Yeah.
And then there's some other women that have complications and that kind of thing. But I guess she didn't have any complications because she had the baby in the tub, boo-boo.
No, I think she was willing to do that with the first one too.
Yeah. I think she was going to. Si no es porque maybe somebody kind of noticed that she was pregnant and she was like, yeah.
But don't they say that for your second pregnancy, you start showing
a lot more
earlier than you would your first? So how did she manage to hide this one?
Like, wait until we get into this and you're like, what the fuck? So at this point now, she has 2 girls, right? And one of them is 1 year old and the other one is born. So también seguiditas, o sea, one after another. So they're only like 12 months apart, basically. So she has really small babies. And then things started going downhill around when the girls turned 2 and 3.
Okay.
Everything started going downhill because Darren and Megan started doing drugs.
Los dos. Okay.
And Darren turned violent against Megan. It was said that Megan had like black eyes and that kind of thing, and she never reported it. She kind of just kept it to herself. But at the same time, Megan's dad took his life. So she was, that
really impacted her, of course.
It really impacted her. She was having a hard time, and she started also drinking heavily.
Yeah, well, all of that compounded with the fact that your husband, is doing drugs. You have 2 babies. 2 toddlers. That's a lot.
That's a lot. And Megan's mom says that she remembers that Megan never had the courage to stand up for herself in front of her husband, anybody at that point. So she was kind of like callada,
Yeah.
Now they're both doing drugs. They're both doing meth. They're extreme users, Estela. Like, it's crazy for me to see her picture because when you see her picture, she looks like a meth addict. Like, los ojos así como,
sunken
her eyes.
Let me pull her up.
We need to remember that they don't lose their home and those kind of things because of the fact that
Didn't they live
they lived in his house. So
in his parents'
house, but they did lose their jobs. Her mental health started going down the drain. Her anxiety was up the roof. She was having hallucinations. She was, everything that comes along with being a crackhead, like paranoia.
A drug addict.
Crack addict. Methamphetamines. She was having...
A meth addict.
She was having the paranoia when you felt things over on your skin.
Yeah, like cucarachas or bugs or whatever.
Yeah. And she was going through it, girl. Like, she was only like in her 20s and she looked at least 50, dude.
Oh, goddamn.
She looked older. And she started losing her hair. So casi no tenía pelo. She was just going through it, right? So, like I said before, there was reports of her having that abuse, but she never really reported to anybody. So people would say, like, the neighbors and stuff would be
que la miraban, maybe.
Que la miraban, yeah. At this time, from their heavy use of meth, they both lost their jobs. Now, all they focused on was just drugs because Darren decided to just start making it himself.
¿Y las girls estaban con ellos?
Estaban con ella, las girls.
Yeah.
So imagine like 2 and 3 years old, 4 or 5 years old, babies that age, just, I don't know what they saw. So they wanted to have consistent supply. So this is when Darren started to make it himself. So in 2005, Darren gets arrested for buying large amounts of iodine from a livestock business in Ohio. And he was using a fake name. He had been buying iodine from these people for the past 3 years. And so he had ordered the iodine. He was just kind of making orders. He would order 1 and then 2. But then this time he ordered 7.
God damn. So to do meth or to make meth, you need iodine?
So that's what I found out, which I had no idea.
Yeah, I had no idea, to be honest.
I only think of iodine whenever you're gonna like...
I just think like salt.
No, because iodine, they use in the clinic when you have like a cut or something, you're going to actually close it or something, use iodine to clean it.
Yeah.
And the smell, like it's really strong, kind of like chemically. So he had technically ordered 7 orders and a total of 84 pints of iodine. So I guess the cops were kind of like, what the hell? That's suspicious. That's kind of sus. And with this iodine, basically with those 84 pints, you could use it to make 28 ounces of meth. So he actually told the detectives that it wasn't for him. Oh. It was for somebody else.
But he was purchasing the iodine for somebody else?
Yes. Yeah, he wasn't ordering for himself.
Oh, okay.
They didn't believe him.
Of course not.
Of course not. Because he had other things going on and they found him guilty. So that's when they sentenced him to the 8 years in prison. After that, in 2011 is whenever Megan moves out of the house.
So, I mean, in all this time, of course, they had a third child, right?
Yeah. So the reason I didn't mention the third child is because it'll make sense in a little bit.
Okay.
So in 2011, she moves out with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right. So I was reading somewhere that Darren's parents were like, you can stay in the house while Darren is in jail and with your girls, right? Pero you have to be faithful to Darren.
Okay.
So if you're not a ride or die, you got to go.
Okay. And she's like, well, I'm going to go.
So she was faithful. But as soon as they found out that she was que andaba con ese guy, la corrieron.
Okay.
They told her to leave in 2011. So now we're back to the investigating room. Yeah. So and they're investigating. Ya piquearon. I was going to say ya piquearon. They picked up Megan, and now she's in the police station, and she's being interviewed. They asked her if she knew why she was there. And Megan said, no, I don't know why I'm here. And then the investigator was like, well, I am going to ask you a few questions. We just want to know, blah, blah, blah. You know, the same thing. Now, this is going to be a major part of the case because this is why this was crazy. So Megan goes on to tell the investigator that while they were doing a lot of drugs, she said she got pregnant right after he left. So he left her, y ella estaba pregnant.
Yeah.
Right? And she didn't know that she was pregnant because she thought it was just stress. And the investigator said, okay, so like around 2006. And she says, yes. Now, I guess the investigator's kind of thinking, so the baby has been in there since 2006.
Mm-hmm. And this was 2014?
And this is 2014, right? So then the investigator asks, well, where did you have the baby?
Yeah.
And she goes on to say that she thinks it's in the bathroom. And so she's like, you think you were in the bathroom?
I mean, for her, that kind of tracks.
Exactly.
You know? Pero que no te acuerdes, come on, like you would know.
Well, hold on. El investigator le dice, well, so in that house where you were living in that restroom? And she's like, yes, in that restroom, that's where I think I had the baby. Mm-hmm. So the officer says, well, can you please describe what happened? And she said, what she said happened was that day she was having a lot of pain.
Okay.
Doble la panza. And she said that her kids were in school. And then she went to the bathroom and she just sat there and pushed really hard and the baby came out.
Okay.
And it was blue.
Okay.
And the baby wasn't crying. So she just figured that the baby was dead.
Yeah.
The officer said, did you try to make the baby cry? And she's like, yeah, I tried to make it cry. So she's like, I was cleaning it or whatever. And then he's like, well, did you like
push on
like something,
yeah.
Their stomach or something? She's like,
call
no.
911.
No. And he said, why? Why did you do that? And she said, because I was scared. I was scared.
What? You're a grown-ass woman.
But she was on a lot of drugs, and she said she was scared. And she said, I didn't know what to do, so I wrapped the baby. Not only that, but she's like, did you try to help the baby breathe? She's like, yes, I went like this, when moving her hands like she was shaking the baby. And I was like, that would make it even worse because you have a shaking baby, you know? And then she's like, I didn't get a response. She also says, I wasn't being smart. I should have called you guys, you know, whatever. It was stupid of me. I was in shock. I didn't know what to do. Detective. So the person that I'm talking about was Detective Backstorm. That's who she was talking to. And then le dice, well, what do you mean you wrapped the baby up? Like, did you wrap it up in like a blanket or in whatever? And she's like, I don't even remember. It was just chaos. I remember a garbage bag or something.
Okay.
But all she did remember was that she put the baby in a box. And the investigator asked her, well, what would you have done different if you had to change something or looking back? And she said, I should have called the cops. Mm-hmm. And then she adds, I could hear a heartbeat. And so the investigator was like, hold on. So you're telling me that you tried to help the baby, and you shook the baby, but you saw a heartbeat? Heard. No. She says she saw a heartbeat.
What?
Yeah. And then he's like, well, then what did you do? She's like, did you try to clean the baby off? Like what? She's like, or with like a blanket or something. She's like, I know, I used my finger. So le metió like I guess she tried to put her finger in the baby's mouth. And she's like, all I remember is that after my kids got home from school and she told them that she wasn't feeling well, she said, I cleaned myself up.
Yeah.
And then I just went to go get the box. The investigator tells her, so far as you know, you put the baby in the box. Was the baby not breathing anymore? Mm-hmm. And she said, yes. And
yes, that the baby wasn't breathing.
The baby wasn't breathing. So then the investigator, I guess, is trying to like make sense of what she's saying, because she kind of was saying some stuff, pero como que she wasn't making any sense. And then she would say one thing and then add 3 things.
Yeah.
So he was struggling to understand her. The investigator's like, well, you weren't worried about somebody finding the baby? Like, you just put it in a box in the garage. What if somebody, like, you moved out? Or what if somebody walked in and saw it? And she said, no, I wasn't worried.
She wasn't thinking about that.
She wasn't thinking about that. She said, what did you do to make sure that the baby wasn't found? She's like, or whenever you were cleaning with your family, you know, because I'm pretty sure you're not the only time that you would go in there. She said, I would just slide the box around and sweep around it so people would know that it was clean.
Oh my God.
And then she would also set stuff on top of that box. So
it didn't smell?
Wait, hold on. So then the investigator was like, well, so you're just cleaning around the area? And she's like, yeah, I would just tell them that it's already clean.
Yeah.
Now, at this time, the investigator is once again going back and forth with Megan. Now, remember at the beginning, they were trying to get a warrant for them to go through the whole garage. They're searching the garage because they're trying to find evidence of what happened to the baby. Mm-hmm. Detective Backstrom, he just kept asking questions and just doing the same thing, going back and forth, and she kept going in circles or whatever. And he said, hey, do you know if the baby was a girl or a boy? And he also asked her, have you had a stillborn before? And she said, yes, I've had a miscarriage when I first moved in to that house.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why Darren only knew about a miscarriage, porque él sabía que ella le había dicho que she had had a miscarriage.
Right.
So that's why I guess he kept saying. And then, which I never thought about this, pero el officer asked, and that's why they're cops, right? Has anybody else in your family had a history of miscarriages? Mm-hmm. And she said, yes, my grandma had a lot of them. Mm-hmm. So then Detective Backstrom then asked Megan,
Detective what?
Backstrom.
Okay.
Then asked Megan, is there anything else that I should ask you that I haven't? Or anything that you need to tell me? And she says, no. This is when the investigator, once again, they start going back and forth, you know, what do you think we should do to help we're just trying to do the best for the baby, que no sé qué. And she said, I think I should go to jail.
She says it?
Yeah. So Detective Backstrom says, okay, I understand that you want to go to jail, but we haven't made any decisions like that. This is not something that we're not there yet. You're still like trying to put everything together, you know, whatever. So while he's still talking to Megan, se mira que his phone goes off. Mm-hmm. You can see it on the camera. As I told you before, the investigators were still at the garage or whatever. And somebody came and got him in, and they needed to talk to him. So lo sacaron de allí. Like I told you before, there was boxes everywhere. And they found another suspicious box. Mm-hmm. So this box was a white box. It was wrapped in black duct tape. And the outside, it said baby stuff, CCC Megan.
Okay.
When they opened it, they found a heavy packaging material and a plastic bag. And something was wrapped. Really wrapped. Mm-hmm. When they lifted the bag to see what was in it, it smelled really bad. Mm-hmm. And there was liquid that was coming out of the bag. It was seeping now from the actual second bag to the other bag. When they opened it, they realized that they had found the remains of yet another baby.
Oh my God.
That appeared to be also full term. So this wasn't a baby like a little
premature.
No. This was a full term, whole baby. The detective on the scenes, that's when they call him and they say, hey, something's not right. Mm-hmm. We found another baby, another body. How do you say that? Like, what? Like, this is crazy. So, like I said, he was still with her. So he leaves the room, él entra de nuevo, and he tells Megan what they found in the house. And can you tell me about what happened? And she kind of have a meltdown. And she said, okay, there's more. And she's like, I'm sorry. I'm not even sure.
What?
And so the investigator was like, what? And he's like, yes, I was on so many drugs and there's, stuff I don't even remember. And then the detective kind of hesitated and he didn't know what to say. He was kind of like in shock, right? And he was like, well, this happened when? And she said years ago. And he's still kind of like, what the fuck? So he's like, do you remember like when this happened? At this point, Megan is still insisting that that baby was also a stillborn. Mm-hmm. So she's like, it was a stillborn. It wasn't breathing, blah, blah, blah. The detective's like, okay, so let's go through the timeline. So the first one that you said the baby was it a stillborn? But then you said it was kind of breathing. And then now you're saying the other baby was a stillborn too? And she's like, yes. And then she's like, I just can't even remember. She goes on to tell them that this baby she had in the tub.
Again.
again. And this one was also a stillborn. And Detective Black's, the detective is like... Backstorm, trying to get himself together because he's like, I don't even know. And then he asked the question of the night, Estela. How many do you think we will find in the garage? How many babies? And she answered 4.
4?
4 babies. So now, like, you can see his face, dude. It's crazy. He's just kind of like sitting there staring at her like what the fuck? Investigators then go on to ask her, are they all 4 in the garage? Yes, they're all 4 in the garage in the same spot. They're all in this cabinet or this area.
Another box
they're all there. He then goes on to ask her again, well, why didn't you call the police?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell someone you were pregnant? Why didn't you could have told somebody you needed help. And it was funny because when you said something about it's Utah, he actually says that it's Utah. Like, people have a lot of babies all the time. Like, this isn't something new. She said, no, I was on a lot of drugs. I was really messed up. I just didn't know what I was doing. So, él le dice después, so you're telling me that the drugs were the ones that were making you make bad decisions? And she said, yes. And now he had to go out and tell the detectives at the house that there was more babies.
Yeah, another 2, I guess.
Another 2. And so he said, well, we're going to have to get a search warrant for your home. And we're going to also get a search warrant from your home where you live with your boyfriend. And she's like, don't worry, you're not going to find anything over there because over there I only have my clothes. So, okay. The detective he couldn't grasp the fact that they were now looking for another 2 babies, right? So he just stood there and he keeps asking her the same thing over and over. So this was... How many years ago? You did this when? So you never moved the babies? The babies are in the same spot?
You had them where? Yeah.
The same thing.
Yeah.
You were in the tub. Did you see them breathing? The same thing. She said one of the babies she did have in the bed.
Okay.
So one of them, she said that when she had the baby, according to her, the baby wasn't breathing. And... apparently, she grabbed the sweater and she wrapped the baby in the sweater. And then she went to the garage to go get it. Like, she's just grabbing boxes from the fucking garage, like Amazon boxes.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck? So they ask her. Now, the other detectives are looking for the new babies. And they want to know if there's anywhere else she could have put them. So they start asking her that. She said, no, that's the only spot that I would have put them. I didn't move them. Because one of the babies was not where she was saying that the baby was. It was in another spot. It was in a cabinet. And so she kept saying, no, I didn't move them. I didn't touch them. And so once again, he goes back to the same thing. We're going back and forth. The over and over about second babies and which one did you have in the tub and which one, the same thing. Was the first one alive? Was it not alive? Was it alive for a short time? It's just crazy for me because he's trying to make sense of everything and she's not giving him anything. So all that she's saying is now there's 4 babies. At this point, they were just going to say that all the babies that were in boxes were alive at one point. That's what they're thinking. She's saying, no, one of them was a stillborn.
Or that all of them
that all of them were stillborn. He asked Megan, so you're telling me that you had all these babies when Darren went to jail? And she's like, no, I had them before Darren went to jail. They're all Darren's. Ella decía que they were all Darren's. So then le dice él, okay, so were the babies breathing? And she said, yes, one of them was breathing for a little bit. So the other 2 babies were yes, apparently now she remembered that all the 3 babies were breathing a little bit. So the investigator's like, well, so then you're telling me that they might have been all alive? And she says, yes. Can you just tell me the truth? Le dice él, can you just tell me the truth? If you're telling me that the babies were breathing when they were born, did you make them stop breathing? And she said, yes. I am pretty sure I did. And this is when we find out that she choked the babies. So she would put her finger over their nose and their mouth until they stopped breathing. Los ahogaba. Él le dice, so you did this to all 4? And she said, no, one of them, otra vez, was the stillborn. And he's kind of trying to get it together to say, okay, so you're telling me that you killed all of these 3 babies by choking them. She's like, yes, because they were going to cry. And they were going to hear them crying. They were going to find out that I had the babies.
What's wrong with that?
She was just scared, according to her. And shocked.
I mean, I feel like we can say, oh, just give them up for adoption or, go. Pero...
I mean, she was not in her right mind.
Yeah.
She was under a lot of drugs. So she says. So the detectives did eventually find the 3 other babies. Most of them were packaged, like we said before, a lot, and como a lot of duct tape and all of that.
So they found those 2 and then they found the other 2, right?
Other 2, okay. Yeah. And some of them were covered como con tiles, como así, güey, así como tener aquí en el garaje, como platos y la chingada, just things like that, como like if they were nothing.
Yeah, just
like if they were
other
trash.
stuff, yeah.
So at this point, now the detectives are contacting again, Detective Backstorm, saying that now they found a 5th one.
What? Bitch, how many are they going to find?
We're about to find out. So he confronts her.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I know you're lying to me.
Yeah.
You're lying to me and you're keeping something from me. Can you please tell me what it is? Can you tell me how many babies, the question of the night, how many babies could there possibly be in the garage? And she said, honestly, I don't know. He's telling her, now, you're telling me you don't know, but we're up to 5. Is there more than 5? What happened to the 5th baby? Once again, did you do the same thing? Blah, blah, blah. She kept saying, I can't remember. I don't know. I can't remember. When he asks again, how many babies do you think are in the garage? Now she hesitates. And she says, you're never going to believe this. I think there'll be 8 or 9.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God. So, as you know, we're not detectives because yo me hubiera desesperado and be like, I can't do this. Somebody come in here. I need to get out of here. And so if somebody else needs to interview this lady, I cannot. I need to go.
Like if you...
I need a moment.
If you sit there and listen to her, like she's talking about this, like if they're cucarachas. Like it was...
Like dolls or something, like toys.
So now he's like, his face, he was just kind of like, se queda como con la boca abierta. And now we're looking for more babies.
Yeah, up to 9.
Right? So él le vuelve a decir, so they're all in the garage? And she's like, yes, they're all in the garage. And él le dijo, nobody could smell them. That's 9 babies.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 8 or I don't know if it's 9. But if it is, can anybody smell them from inside the house? She says no. She did admit that some people would say that they would smell something, but in the summertime, pero ella decía que it was the smell of the cats or that she would open the garage a lot para que saliera el aire.
El aire, yeah.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
Just air out.
That's so crazy. Like, wouldn't, like, why still keep them there? Why don't you dispose of them? In my mind, like...
She said that whenever she wanted to, at one point she wanted to take them out. She just scared that she was going to get caught.
Yeah.
So it was just
too easier.
Far.
Yeah.
She was too far gone. But my deal is like you live there with your girls and your family after your husband was in jail for 8 years.
But she only lived with little kids. They're kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true. But you could, wouldn't you tell if your mom is pregnant? I don't know.
If her husband couldn't tell she was pregnant?
For real, bitch. For real. You're not lying there. The detectives, detective did ask her, hey, did Darren know that you were pregnant or did he? And she says, no, I kept it to myself for 18 years, Estela. She never told a soul. This is what she's saying. I
don't think you can believe what she says.
They ask her again, so you're telling me that Darren had no idea? She says, no, he didn't know. But they ask her if they're all his and she says, yes, they're all his babies.
Lies.
It was hard for the detectives to grasp the fact that he was sleeping next to her and he couldn't tell that she was pregnant, like you said. Yeah. Like, there's no way. Because all of the
But that's just after she said that they were all his, right? Mm-hmm. That means all of this would have been before he went to prison and or jail.
He went to prison, yeah. It didn't take long before at the house they did find the 6th body. This one was wrapped in a sweater, like I told you.
The same, yeah.
But it was in a cabinet and it was stuffed in a box. Mm-hmm. They found baby number 7. It was also placed in that same cabinet. And this one was covered with brown and pink tiles. Mm-hmm. I just can't get over it. And then placed in a large box inside of that. Mm-hmm. So it was like, como que she would like wrap them and wrap them and wrap them.
Yeah, como un... Iba a ser un regalo sorpresa.
Yeah, or something like that. Alongside the baby was discarded clothing, including women's underwear and bloody white gloves. Mm-hmm. I don't know what she was trying to do, maybe clean up. Nothing was found in Megan's trailer that she lived in with her current boyfriend. Now, they had to figure out if Megan knew that the babies were alive and that she intentionally killed them.
Yeah.
But she said she did.
Yeah.
She straight up said, yes, I was...
she said
I suffocated them.
She said for the first 4. Quién sabe for the other 5.
No. She later on says she suffocated all of them but one, which was the stillborn. Now, there were 7 babies that they found in the garage. She kept saying 8 or 9, but she didn't remember. I mean, the fact that there were 7, that's just already a lot. So apparently she said that all of those were, but that one stillborn. And she did, once again, like I said, admitted to choking them. So she was taken into custody and put in for 6 counts of murder.
6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that one, she keeps saying there was a stillborn. They couldn't determine
and they only
if
found
it wasn't.
7.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Darren was brought in for questioning because they needed to find out if he was involved, dude. Like, how is it that you don't know that your wife is pregnant?
Yeah.
At this point, Darren only he only knew about one baby.
Which one?
The first one that he found.
So he knew about it when he found it?
No. He's the only.
He only knew that they only found that one because he's the one that found it.
He's the one that found it. So he asked 3. They asked him, how many times have your wives been pregnant? And he said 3 times. And they asked him,
which is the 3 girls that they have.
The 3 girls that they have. And he said, yes. And I know that she had 1 miscarriage. We go back to the same thing.
Yeah, the first one that he found.
The first one. So he then goes on to tell the detectives that he's like, I didn't even know she was pregnant with my daughters that I have now.
Yeah.
You know, we go back to whenever she was hiding things from him. So he's like, I didn't even know. He then asked detectives how many babies were in the garage. And when the detective told him, this man was on the fucking floor.
I believe it.
He was in shock. He just started putting his hands up in the air. Like, no sabía si quería sacar las greñas. Like, he's like, what is this? He was sobbing. He just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Darren is saying that the baby maybe the babies weren't even his. Como hablamos de eso. He's like, maybe they were not all mine. And they asked him, and the detective's like, no, she's saying that they're all yours, bro.
But still.
He then realizes that the detectives are asking him because he might be involved in the killings. And he just got out of jail for 8 years.
Yeah.
And he's like, I did not do anything. I had nothing to do with it. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? The investigator le dice que his wife admitted to killing the 6 babies herself. And he just, once again, could not believe it. He was just crying. And he's like, I don't know why. I just don't understand, blah, blah, blah. And then when they finally tell him that they were all in the garage. Now, another thing is that the detectives were kind of wondering, well, if it was him or he did have something involved in it, why would he call the police on himself?
Yeah, when he found the first baby. Yeah.
And then on top of that, why would he tell him to come in his house and then knowing that there was another
6 more.
6 more.
Yeah.
Like they were like, there's no way. After they started kind of trying to investigate him, he asked for a lawyer. He was like, I'm not doing this. Now, every piece of evidence that was gathered at the house was brought to get tested, and there was no one else's fingerprints anywhere on any of that surfaces other than Megan's. There was no one else's. No one else touched the babies. No one else but her.
Which just, I think that I don't know if you're going to tell us, but then that means that all of this happened after he was taken to prison, right?
Nope. So they also think another thing is that the DNA evidence once again showed that. Because there's DNA. You can't lie out from DNA.
Yeah, it was their house.
The babies
they lived
were
there.
all Megan's.
Yeah.
And the babies were all Darren's.
What?
Yes. So remember that I told you that I was going to tell you about that third daughter? Yeah. So in between some of the babies, because some of the times that she would have a baby, she would actually have people in her house, bitch. Like sitting there in the
family
or whatever, watching TV and
she was in the bathroom?
And she was in the bathroom having a baby and then putting it in the fucking garage. So one of the babies that she had in between this, or I'm thinking I couldn't find it.
Because you said that there was like you said that the second daughter was 17 and the youngest was 10?
No, the youngest was 15.
15.
So that's what I'm going to go at. So around 2000, is whenever one of the babies, she couldn't hide it.
Okay.
The baby, her stomach was too big. He found out and he questioned her about the baby, and they ended up finding out that she was pregnant and she had
the third daughter.
That third daughter.
Okay. The 15-year-old.
Yeah.
When everything happened. But she was 15.
Exactly. So it could have been more babies.
Between.
Yeah. There was a lot more babies in between. And I'm going to tell you the dates right now.
Yeah.
So Megan was booked into the Utah County Jail with 6 counts of murder. Mm-hmm. She appeared at court where she was going to be tried for the 6 counts of murder, and her bail was set at $6 million.
Of course.
Which was $1 million for each baby. Mm-hmm. Even with the severity of the case, they couldn't put her up for the death penalty because in Utah between 1996 and 2006, killing of a child was not something to be considered as a major crime.
Oh.
Yes. Can you believe that?
No.
Everything was changed in 2007. So now before that, they couldn't they couldn't go for the death penalty. In 2015, Megan Huntsman pleaded guilty for 6 counts of murder. A Utah judge called her crimes horrific and unimaginable. She was sentenced to 6 terms of 15 years of to life in prison. Until now, she remains behind bars in the Utah State Prison. Now, let me tell you, so this is kind of like a timeline. It's not accurate or anything. I'm just going based on what I found online, right? So they're saying that according to the confession, when she got married in 1993, remember?
Okay.
And then she had one right after in 1990.
Which is the 2 girls.
The 2 girls.
Yeah.
In 1996, she killed the first infant. In 1998, she killed the second one. In 2000 is when she killed the third one. In 2002, 4th. 2004, the 5th. In 2005 to 2006, between that time, she killed the 6th baby. The 7th baby in that period, they still don't know because it was the one that she kept saying that it was a stillborn. So they don't know when she was supposed to be born. So in between this, she had
the third
one. But if you think about it, it would be so messed up because if it wasn't because she showed, she would have been dead too.
The same thing.
Same thing. Same thing would have happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. If she wouldn't
because Darren found out.
Yeah. See, no, she would have also been killed. So all these babies were killed in between.
So she was getting pregnant right away.
Right away. So she was in a roughly 10-year period of time. Is that from 96 to 2006 is the last one.
So she was pregnant from 1993 to 2006 every year?
Every year. Almost, yeah.
Oh my God.
And not only that, but she was on very heavy drugs. So when asked why, can you tell us why? And she said,
she didn't start drugs. I don't know.
You're right. That's true. But because the fact that she was already kind of weird with the other 2 girls, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like.
Pero a lo mejor no estaba bien de la mente la
señora, maybe she wasn't.
Desde entonces.
Obviously.
Oh, I mean, postpartum también. She was having fucking pregnancies back to back to back. Imagine was.
And then drugs and alcohol and all of that.
Yeah.
And so, we don't know exactly what she went through, but the thing is that.
Porque ella tampoco no dice, right?
No dice. And the fact that there was 7 babies that she had plus 3 that she was just having like.
She had 10 children.
Yeah. I
can't believe it.
Can't believe it. And there's so many people out there that can't even have one.
Or have issues conceiving,
And it makes me so sad. And because she kept saying, it's because I was on drugs and I was because of the drugs and that was going to harm them or what. No, dude, you could go, a lot of people
go through. You can go
get help,
put them up for adoption, or take them
or like to the safe haven places or something like that. Get help. There's no reason why the baby should have died. And not only that, but okay, so she's saying that because of that she did not.
Okay, if you say you were on drugs, you did it once, but bitch, 6 times after that, mamona, like.
No, güey. Y luego si estás diciendo que the other baby, she didn't want to give him a bad life, güey. Okay, that's fine. Pero como esa one that did make it, there was nothing wrong with her.
Yeah, she was fine.
She was fine.
From what we know.
We know it. Yeah, obviously. But, it was the fact that it was that amount of babies, the fact that she lived with that for so long, it was just so incredible and so fucking sad.
Dude, she would have never have told anybody if they hadn't been found.
She would have never had told anybody. Mm-hmm. And all of this is online. You can definitely go online and check it out. Sometimes the darkest secrets aren't buried in remote woods or in deep lakes like we always see.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're hiding in plain sight, even in a quiet neighborhood, even inside a
No, well, they always
garage.
say like everything happens. Like cuando pasa algo in a small town, everybody's like, nothing ever happens here. Like,
dude, it was crazy to me because afterwards, like, I saw a lot of interviews that they did on the people, like the townspeople y todo eso. And the townspeople were like, they had no idea that she was even on drugs, dude. They were like, que la miraban y que salía. Because she was, remember, didn't I tell you que she was a babysitter, güey?
Yeah.
¿Qué tal si le hubiera hecho daño a uno de esos niños también?
Yeah. While on drugs.
So then a lot of the people around her were like, there's no way.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, how did they know? How did they miss it? So they would be like, we would see that she would gain weight and lose weight, but we never thought that
She
it
was
was
pregnant.
because she was pregnant. And
crazy.
because of the fact that she had the 2 other girls. I mean,
Already. And then she had the third one.
Y luego, she was just having them en la casa así nomás a lo pelón, güey.
It's crazy.
This one really fucked with me because I was kind of like, dude. And every time I would say Megan, me acordaba de la pinche mona. And, like, but anyway, this is the case of Megan Huntsman. So special shout out to Bitch I Can't Podcast. We got a message.
Well, we gotta just
It was a message.
A comment.
It was a comment. So we got a comment from a very, very sweet person.
Listener
on Spotify.
Yeah.
So then from there,
they told us that they
Yeah.
came from the Bitch I Can podcast because he gave us a shout out.
Yeah, and he was recommending different people that he listened to.
Yeah.
And he mentioned our podcast, and we really, really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
The fact that you even thought about our little old me and Estela podcast is very, 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 very appreciated. So please, his stuff is awesome. I was listening to it.
He does true crime too.
He does true crime. And not only that, but
He's funny.
He is hilarious. And he just seems like I want to be his best friend. I
Yes.
think he is my best friend. He just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for even thinking about our little podcast. But if you would like to follow us on Instagram, you can at
Cafecito and Crime Pod. And if you would like to download our episodes, leave us a review and or rate us. We would really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening. And I hope that everyone has a good Halloween skis and talk to you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.